back to this special hour-long edition of Insiders. We're talking to Congressman Latham and Congressman Boswell. Congressman Boswell, do you agree that government has favored the larger corporate farmer? And if so, how can you reverse that trend? The impact has been very serious in Iowa towns.
Well, there's been a trend going on ever since I was a kid. We started out, there was a lot of 80-acre farms, 160s, 240s, and so on. And we've all hated to give up the lifestyles and so on, and I've feel the same way.
But has government played a role in that?
Say again?
Has government played a role in that?
Well, probably have in some different ways when you think about all the farm service operations and so on. But, I think people kind of do what they want to do. And I know the size farm that we had changed as I was growing up. And when I came back after spending a number of years in the Army, to be able to make things work, I had to have more acreage, if you will, than what I would have had before I went. It's tough on the little towns. It truly is, but things have changed, and so we have the small farmers, the organic farmers, which is a good thing, and we have the production farmers that have gotten bigger. But with population growth, 9 billion people, there's room for both. There's no need for a fuss there anymore. I think we need to encourage both because there's a shortage. In the state of Iowa, we've got hungry children. Something's not right. And you think about the world population we're going to be faced with 9 billion that's coming our way. It's okay. The farmers markets have proven. People like that. The fact that we have need to ship product as we have from the state of Iowa, there's a need. And it seems to me like we got room and necessity for both.
Congressman Latham, is it a trend that can change, that can help Iowa small towns, or should we not fight it?
Well, there's an economy of scale going on, and anyone involved in agriculture today understands, with land prices where they are today. There was a farm sold up in northwest Iowa for over $21,000 an acre.
Sioux County, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it. This continues. I think there has been some contribution from the Farm Bill with the lack of payment limitations, the amount that individuals can get. But the new Farm Bill, and what I want to see happen is, and we're doing away with the direct payments that farmers have received and the counter-cyclical payments, but they need a risk management tool today, and that through crop insurance to make sure that that is there for them so that they can, in fact, go to the bank, borrow the money, what they need. But the equipment cost today, all of this has really caused the operations to almost have to get much larger than what they have in the past.
Earlier this week, Congressman Boswell, you blamed Congressman Latham for not having a new farm bill, citing his closeness to Speaker of the House, John Boehner.
I still am.
Okay. I didn't figure that probably changed. Let's talk about, you held an event over at the United Steelworkers and said that Firestone here in Des Moines had laid off about, I think it was 1,400 of the 1,600 workers, and it was because of the uncertainty of the farm economy, not having a new farm bill now. Firestone the next day said, no, that's not true. It had nothing to do with it. This was a planned shutdown. We do this a couple times a year. Their story doesn't jive with your story. So what's happening here?
Well, first off, I didn't hold an event. I was invited to an event, and I went. I was invited to go, so I went out there, and I did talk to a number of the people that work in the plant. They've been there, some of them 25, 30 years, and they say they can count on fingers of one hand when they've had these kind of layoffs. I don't have anything against Firestone. Firestone's a great company, and we're glad to have them here, and we hope they have continued success. Of course we do. But the workers out there, as they meet with other people, their families scattered around, and realize that machinery is not being sold, and things are not going on because of the drought, and then with the uncertainty of not having a farm bill. And Tom tells me all the time how close he is with Mr. Boehner, and I appreciate that. I think maybe he's going to use that a little bit, but I was thinking maybe he would put his arm around him and say, come on, John.
But they just announced a $74 million expansion. If their business was hurting, how would that make any sense?
Yeah, I get this from the workers themselves, as they talk about it. It's not been a pattern, and they think that because of drought combination and uncertainty and things are not being done as far as the need to make more tires dollars, if you will, for all kinds of implements. That's what they're up against. A farm bill would have given that and would have helped.
So did you put them out of work?
Well, anytime anyone is laid off for a day, I don't like it, and I feel bad about it. But the fact of the matter is, as you reported, they're investing $74 million in modernizing the plant there, simply because of the agricultural demand that's out there for the tires. And this, according to them, that this is a regularly scheduled, downtime that they have, and oftentimes they do maintenance, things like that, because there's still 200 basically doing maintenance and improving the plant. But no, I hate to see anybody laid off for one day, but the fact of the matter is it was a political stunt just to have an election year issue, apparently. It was just announced we're going to be voting on the farm bill when we go back in the lame duck session. I want to make sure we get it done. We get it to the floor. If there's amendments, have an open rule. Let's change it if it needs to be changed, and then get it in conference with the Senate and get this bill signed. It's very important.
To Congressman Boswell's point, though, when I've heard you campaigning talking about uncertainty in the business community, though, isn't it fair to say then as he points out, there has to be uncertainty in the ag community because of the uncertainty with the farm bill?
There is some, certainly, but there's farmers today, I will guarantee, are just as concerned. Obviously, this is important. We need to get the farm bill done. But they're worried about the end of the year. Their taxes going up, marginal tax rates, the death tax. They're really concerned about all the regulations they see coming out of Washington. That uncertainty is as great. They understand that we're going to have a farm bill. We're going to get it done. It will happen. But the uncertainty as far as taxes and regulations, when you've got the EPA with new regulations on dust and water runoff, things like that are very, very expensive for a farmer to comply with.
Congressman Boswell, we have to take another break, but I'll give you 20 seconds here.
Well, the farm bill is something that didn't just surprise us. We knew that, and Tom made some good points about the fact that the people going to the banker, they got to go in there with a plan and work out a cash flow. It's capital intensive. They ought to have that. And so we don't really have an excuse knowing it was coming. The Senate passed it on time. It came out of committee on time. And it should have been done. And it could have been avoided if we'd have just stayed there and done that instead of maybe doing this.
When we come back, we're going to talk about whether or not there should be a gas tax hike. Stay with us.